Okay, here we have a Windows machine running Webfig, running Winbox, and running an SSH PuTTY terminal. They're all connected at this time. And what we want to take a look at is this sorting feature here under Winbox. You notice I can sort by chains, I can sort by actions, I can sort by numbers. So the first thing that comes to my mind is, well, if I sort by chains, will it do this rule first, this rule second, this rule third, or will it go down here and do rule 0 first, 1 second, 2 third? So that's my question. I posted a forum post at Micotech, and I never got an answer. Nobody answered it. They answered the questions above mine and below mine, but nobody answered this question. Not even any wise answers. So I don't know if it's either an invalid question or it's a question nobody really knows the answer to. So let's settle this once and for all. Okay, let's do some things here. I'm going to add a new rule, and the new rule will be to reject everything that's an input. So I'm going to drop everything that is an input. Therefore, I won't be able to connect to this router again. So I'm going to say OK. It's item number 4 down here. I better put a comment on it. So the comment, test, drop all input. Remember, the purpose here is to find out if the router goes by this sequence list, the sequence number, it goes by the position on the list. Now you notice right now the two lists match, 0 to 14 to the bottom. But over here, under the Winbox, I can go ahead and sort the chain, put the drops at the top. Notice the drop I want is someplace around here. Where is it? Input, drop all input right there. It's the third one. So I'm going to eliminate these first two so they can't have any impact. Go to disable them, I should say. Notice it shows them disabled over here, but the sequence over here is still the same sequence, numerical sequence. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to connect to the router using PuTTY. And I'll use this one we know works. And notice I don't get any connection. I can't connect because this rule is in fact killing all my input. So I can't get there. And it's rule number 14. So let's try to prove that. If I go ahead and I disable this drop all input, that's now disabled. Still at the bottom down here. He noticed it's disabled. So now when I try to connect with PuTTY, same thing, load the same parameters. Notice it lets me connect. So now I'm even more confused than I was before, because now it seems to honor this listing in Winbox, but it's not honoring the numerical listing over here. So who has priority? I don't know. I put a comment out there on the forum on Micotech about a week ago, and nobody's ever answered my question. My question was, do the rule sequence numbers determine the sequence of rule testing, or does it actually depend on the list sequence? Because everybody's saying top-down list. Well, my top-down list here in Winbox does in fact seem to honor the top-down and ignores the rule numbers. So I'm really confused now because this guy shows it the top-down is that way, yet he shows it another way. Notice that as usual, if I wait long enough, a PuTTY fatal error pops up. I can't log in. I can't do that. So the system's still honoring the last Winbox configuration change. So I'm going to get rid of that message. Close that Winbox. Notice everything looks hunky-dory over here. Everything's just exactly the way I left it. So I wonder if these are affecting it. So let's enable these two. Maybe these have some impact on the results. Let's try it again now. See if we can connect this time. And we can. So our rule's at the bottom, so it should have worked, right? If we put the bottom rule at the top, it gets renumbered. It gets renumbered to number 1, so this won't tell us the answer. But anyway, if with it at the top, then it should fail. Let me try to putty in. So we'll close that and putty in again. And sure enough, we can putty in. So this didn't tell us if the sequence does it. Oh, I see, that's still disabled. Well, how stupid can I get? Okay, so I'm going to enable that rule. But like I say, it won't prove anything because it's already the rule sequence, so it won't log in. As you may have realized, that last little stunt where I enabled that drop everything, it locked me out of the router. I couldn't get back with anything. I had to reboot the router back to factory reset. Then I had to restore my previous configuration back into the router, and now I've logged back into the router using SSH. Then I set the Winbox disabled equals no so I can connect with Winbox, and now we're back. So what have we learned from all this? What we've learned is that Webfig always renumbers it when you move it out of sequence, so the numbers always match sequentially from top to bottom, and the rules are listed top to bottom. So my question doesn't affect that. However, over here on this Winbox, you can sort the rules in different ways, and that does change the sequence. The sorted results are the sequence of these rules. So you might want to keep that in mind. So in closing, it appears that the Winbox can in fact change the filter sequence just by sorting with one of these sorting columns here. And it will change how the router reacts. So keep that in mind. Whereas Webfig, it's always going to be sequential based on the list top to bottom, and the numbers follow top to bottom also. So this is very important when you're writing firewall rules, so make sure you fully understand this. This was supposed to be part of another lesson, but it became so involved that it became its own lesson. So this concludes this lesson number 16.